Angel Reese is now quoted as saying, "I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we're watching women's basketball is not just because of one person." She refuses to say Caitlin Clark's name. "It's because of me too, and I want you to realize."
Angel Reese claimed she chose Chicago because of Coach Weatherspoon, but here's the truth no one saw coming. Rookies don't actually choose their teams, they're drafted, so why would Angel say that? Was it a slip or a calculated lie? What you're about to hear will shake your perception of the Chicago Sky's turbulent season, a story that's not just collapsing, it's crashing and burning from the inside. Behind every confident smile, there's a hidden tension, and behind every press statement, a truth that's been buried deep. Get ready for shocking revelations about what's really happening behind closed doors, because in this video we're exposing every twist, every deception, starting with the lies that surfaced right after Teresa Weatherspoon's shocking firing. And trust me, this is only the beginning.
Angel Reese is not happy about it either. She dropped a long tweet that said, quote, "You had a tough job, all the crazy circumstances that we went through this year, and when your back was against the wall, you always believed. I came to Chicago because of you. You were an unsung hero in my life. We built a relationship in a short amount of time that will last forever. You didn't deserve this, but I can't thank you enough. I love you, Teaspoon."
So why did the Sky fire their coach after just one season? On paper it makes no sense, but behind the scenes, chaos was brewing. The Chicago Sky's 2024 campaign wasn't just rough, it was a storm of controversy. From Angel Reese's questionable statements to Weatherspoon's abrupt dismissal, every headline seemed to echo the same question: what's really going on? The numbers tell part of the story: a 13-win, 27-loss record, 5 games worse than last year. But the stats don't reveal the whispers, the secret calls, the accusations of stat padding, or the reckless aggression toward players like Caitlin Clark. Something far darker is tearing this team apart. And as we dive deeper, you'll see this isn't just a team in trouble. It's a web of deception tightening by the day. But the real question is, who's pulling the strings?
Okay. Two truths and a lie. Okay. What we talking about? Let's
remember that viral play where Reese claimed she outsmarted Caitlin Clark. The footage tells a different story, one that doesn't match her confident words. But that's just the tip of an iceberg, made of half-truths and contradictions. With every statement, a new crack appears in her narrative, and when we start connecting the dots, a chilling pattern begins to emerge, one that's too precise to ignore. Let's begin with the most recent moment, her tribute to Coach Teresa Weatherspoon. Reese boldly said she chose Chicago because of the coach. But anyone who knows the league knows that's not how it works. Once a player declares for the draft, she has zero control over where she ends up. Teams make the picks, not the players. So why would she say that? What truth was she trying to cover? The closer we look, the deeper the cracks get.
2 days and 2 illogical firings in the WNBA. First Kurt Miller with the LA Sparks, and then Chicago Sky fired Coach Teresa Weatherspoon less than a year after her hire. This is a shot in the heart of this organization.
Next came her podcast appearance, and this one raised even more eyebrows. Reese, brimming with confidence, claimed that several teams who didn't draft her called afterward, saying they wanted her. It sounded flattering, almost cinematic, but insiders knew something was off, because in the world of professional drafts, words mean nothing if they're not backed by action. And the more she spoke, the more people started questioning what was real and what was fiction. So were those calls even real, or just another story meant to shape her image? The answer might change how fans see her forever.
There's when other teams say I wish we drafted you.
Really?
Yes. Like teams that have drafted that were above me, that the players that got drafted above, and it was nothing against their rookies that got drafted, but they were like, I wish we were teammates. I wish we drafted you.
Here's the thing. If those teams truly wanted her, why didn't they just draft her? Reese was the 7th overall pick, remember? And even her own team, the Chicago Sky, passed her up at the 3rd spot. Instead, they went with South Carolina's powerhouse Camila Cardoso, a player many believe is the true cornerstone of Chicago's future. So where does that leave Reese? Her claims just don't line up, and it doesn't end there, because the inconsistencies continued, right up to that flagrant foul on Caitlin Clark during the June 16th game. Roll back the footage, watch closely, and you'll start to see what so many have been whispering about all season long. This story isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about truth, ego, and the fall of a rising star. Guess what? During the post-game interview, Angel Reese tried to brush it all off. She smiled, acted calm, and said it was just a play on the ball. But her tone told another story. Then came the subtle jab, a quiet hint that some players get special treatment. Clearly, she was alluding to Caitlin Clark, but when you watch the footage, there's no debate, no gray area. The contact was excessive, the intent undeniable. And in that moment, the crowd saw not competitiveness, but something darker. A rivalry boiling over into something much more personal.
We went up
really strong a lot of times, and we didn't get a lot of calls. And going back and looking at the film, I've seen a lot of calls that weren't made. I guess some people got a special.
What's even more confusing is Reese's claim that she has no beef with Caitlin Clark. No rivalry, no bad blood. But if that's true, why was she caught on camera clapping, laughing, jumping for joy when her teammate Chennedy Carter shoved Clark in a blatant, non-basketball move during the June 1st game? The reaction wasn't just excitement, it was celebration. And for fans watching around the world, that moment spoke louder than any interview ever could, because sometimes silence reveals more than words and actions. They reveal everything.
Chennedy Carter now with 12 points off the bench.
Actions don't just speak louder than words, they scream, and in Reese's case, they're echoing across the league. That flagrant foul against Caitlin Clark, it wasn't an isolated incident, it was part of a growing, troubling trend. 17% of all flagrant fouls in the WNBA this season were committed against Clark, and get this, 80% of those came from the Chicago Sky. That's not coincidence, that's a pattern. A culture of aggression that's raising eyebrows everywhere. How can a locker room tolerate this level of hostility? How can a coach justify it? We'll break that down in a moment, but if you've made it this far, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications, because what comes next might just change how you see this team forever.
Sorry, young lady. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody would be watching the WNBA additionally for you. This is all about Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is bringing the money to the game, the planes to the game, the TV viewership. The WNBA is on fire because of Caitlin Clark.
Now let's talk numbers. Double-doubles, rebounding records. On paper, Angel Reese looks unstoppable. But are those stats as clean as they seem? Whispers of stat padding have started spreading, and they're casting a long shadow over her supposed achievements. It's one thing to chase greatness. It's another to chase numbers at the expense of the team. The tension inside the locker room is thick. Trust is fading fast. Even her teammate, rookie standout Camila Cardoso, called one of their losses embarrassing. When teammates start losing faith, the cracks don't just stay in the locker room, they show up on the court, and every missed pass, every forced shot tells the same story.
They don't have an answer for you, but this was embarrassing, so I really hope we figure out what was wrong and go back to the court tomorrow, practice, or do whatever we gotta do and fix it for our next road.
But step back and look at the bigger picture. Because while individual stats shine on paper, they mean nothing when the team keeps losing. The Sky's downward spiral isn't just about missed shots or defensive errors, it's about broken trust, fractured communication, and personal agendas overshadowing team goals. The organization's identity is slipping, the culture is cracking, and as losses pile up, all eyes turn to one person, Coach Teresa Weatherspoon. But instead of solutions, her short tenure only brought more confusion. How did a respected coach become part of the problem? What went wrong in the heart of the locker room? Her downfall isn't just the story of a coach, it's the story of a team losing its soul. And as the Chicago Sky fall deeper into chaos, the question lingers like a storm cloud over the franchise. Can they ever rise again?
Much about coaching is managing personalities, and the toughest personalities I think to manage would be those that run.
Teresa Weatherspoon's journey with the Chicago Sky was short, chaotic, and heartbreaking. She was hired with glowing headlines and a legacy. Carved in basketball history, fans believed she'd rebuild the Sky, reignite their fire, and lead them to glory. But 1 season later, the dream was over. The record a painful reflection of the team's collapse, yet the numbers only reveal the surface. Behind closed doors, a different drama was taking shape, a story of disconnection, miscommunication, and mistrust. Exit interviews uncovered a shocking truth. Players felt lost, leadership was fractured, and strategy changed week to week. The once united Sky had become directionless, and then came Angel Reese's emotional outburst, tears in her eyes. She said, "I came to Chicago because of you. You were the only one who believed in me." But those heartfelt words clashed with reality, because in the WNBA, players don't choose their teams, they're drafted. Her statement exposed more than emotion, it revealed the confusion that defined Weatherspoon's tenure, and that was just the beginning of her unraveling story.
Chicago Sky fired their head coach, Teresa Weatherspoon, a move that had my entire timeline saying, what the heck?
So, what went wrong? At first, everything looked promising, but as the season went on, cracks began to show. The limited coaching experience, just 6 years at Louisiana Tech, became glaring. The transition from college to the professional stage hit harder than anyone expected. The WNBA is a different battlefield, and she was still learning how to survive. Meanwhile, the roster she inherited was falling apart. Key players like Collier Copper and Marina Mabry were traded away, leaving the Sky without its backbone. Even the best coach would struggle under those conditions, and Weatherspoon was still finding her footing. But the most troubling part wasn't the trades or the losses, it was the focused somewhere along the way. The priority shifted from team success to individual glory. Angel Reese's double-doubles became the story, but behind those stats, the team kept losing. Personal milestones stacked up, while victories slipped away. The locker room grew divided, unity faded, and in chasing records, the Sky lost something far more important, their soul.
And you can't say they're not stat padding, because the game against the Fever, all the starters were out and Angel Reese was still in, and so she could get her double-double, right?
As if the internal chaos wasn't enough, the team's on-court behavior made headlines for all the wrong reasons. The Sky's aggressive playstyle crossed the line repeatedly, especially when it came to star players like Caitlin Clark. The number of flagrant fouls they committed shocked the league. Yet, not once did Weatherspoon publicly condemn it. Not one word of accountability. And in her silence, the message was clear. This kind of play was acceptable. Her lack of response didn't calm the storm, it fueled it. When the firing finally came, it wasn't a surprise, it was inevitable. But what it revealed was far bigger than one coach's downfall. The Chicago Sky had become the revolving door of instability. Each new leader brought a new philosophy, and the players were trapped in constant adjustment. The chemistry faded. The trust dissolved on the team's identity, lost in the chaos.
Chicago Sky franchise has been an absolute dumpster fire since winning the WNBA championship in 2021. Let's go through some of the names that have left. James Wade, who was the coach and GM, left in the middle of the season last year to go to the NBA. Candace Parker, Emma Messman, Courtney Vandersloot, Allie Quigley, Clea Copper was traded, Lazura Stevens. And then this year, after drafting Cardozo and Reese, they were competing for a playoff spot and traded Marina Mabrey, their veteran, before the Olympic.
Weatherspoon's downfall stands as a warning to every WNBA franchise. A famous name and a decorated past don't guarantee coaching success. Great players don't always make great leaders. To survive at the pro level, you need adaptability, communication, and the ability to inspire unity, qualities that were slipping away from Chicago. And as the dust from her firing settled, a darker truth began to surface, a league-wide controversy born on the Sky's home court. How did Chicago's aggressive tactics toward Caitlin Clark ignite a debate about player safety across the W? Let's rewind to that infamous August 30th matchup, the Indiana Fever versus the Chicago Sky. Midway through the first half, the tension exploded. Michaela Oniware went up for a contest, and her dangerous follow-through prevented Clark from landing safely. The arena gasped. The silence was deafening. Everyone could feel it. This was no ordinary foul. And it was only the beginning.
Look here, does she give her landing space?
It doesn't look like she does to me, and the actual call of that is a reckless closeout.
Clark hit the floor hard. Collision drew instant attention, and the officials had no choice but to issue a flagrant one. For a moment, the crowd froze. Would this be the moment Caitlin Clark finally broke? Not a chance. She stood up, brushed herself off, and calmly drained both free throws. The crowd erupted, but the chaos wasn't over. Later in the same game, another hit, another fall, another flagrant foul. As Clark raced down the court on a fast break, Diamond DeShields met her with a crushing blow. Flagrant one again. The sequence went viral, dissected from every angle, sparking outrage, debate, and disbelief across the sports world. And as the dust settled, one question echoed louder than ever. Was this still basketball, or had it become something far more dangerous?
Serena, the Fever really stretched out this one.
These incidents aren't just about two players or two teams. They've ignited a much bigger conversation across the WNBA, a conversation about player safety, sportsmanship, and the integrity of the game. When one team racks up such a staggering number of flagrant fouls against a single player, you have to ask, is this coincidence, or is it calculated? And if it's deliberate, what does that say about their culture, their leadership, and their priorities? Basketball is supposed to be fierce, not reckless. There's a fine line between competition and danger, and when that line blurs, the sport itself begins to suffer. But amidst the chaos, one player's composure stood out. Caitlin Clark, despite enduring some of the roughest treatment the league has ever seen. She never broke after the Sky game. Her calm words cut through the noise. It's just part of basketball. That one sentence showed everything: grace under fire, unshakable resilience, and a mental toughness that defines champions. And that's what makes this story so much more than controversy. It's a battle of integrity.
What's going through my mind is I need to make these 2 free throws. That's all I'm thinking about. It's just part of basketball. It is what it is. Just trying to make a play on the ball and get the block. But yeah.
Caitlin Clark's season has been nothing short of historic. Her performances aren't just breaking records, they're redefining the standard. Remember that game against the Sky? 2 flagrant fouls, brutal hits, and still, she dropped a career-high 31 points. That's not luck, that's heart. It's this kind of grit that's turning her into more than an athlete, a symbol of perseverance, a true ambassador for the sport. But let's be clear, admiring Clark's toughness doesn't excuse the behavior that pushed her to prove it. No player, no matter how strong, should have to endure unnecessary contact or deliberate fouls. The WNBA now stands at a crossroads. As new audiences tune in, young fans, aspiring athletes, what kind of message are we sending them? If we want basketball to grow, we need to protect its foundation, the players. That means accountability, stricter penalties, and a renewed commitment to fair play. Because the Clark controversy isn't just a headline, it's a turning point. The question now is, will the league take a stand or let history repeat itself?
Relationship that she built with Angel Reese and with Camila Cardosa, to have your 2 young stars vocally bought into you as the coach and then to move on from you without even giving you more than 1 single season to try to get it right, it just doesn't sit well.
But here's the real challenge. How do you rebuild when the foundation itself is cracked? The Sky's locker room isn't just divided, it's unstable. Conflicting priorities, blurred leadership, and fractured trust have left scars that won't heal overnight. And then there's Angel Reese, once seen as the emotional core of the team. She now finds herself at the center of controversy. Her words, her attitude, her on-court behavioral raising tough questions about accountability and leadership. Will the new coach see her as a cornerstone or a liability? Meanwhile, Camila Cardoso, the team's brightest spark in a season full of darkness, faces her own dilemma. She's talented, ambitious, and hungry to win. But will she stay loyal to a team that's still trying to find its identity? The Sky can't afford to lose young stars like her, but unless the culture changes fast, they just might. And looming above it all is the league-wide concern: player safety. The Sky's reputation for aggression has left a stain that only genuine change can wash away. For the new coach, it's not just about X's and O's, it's about restoring the very soul of the team.
And I think you're basically lying if you're saying what Caitlin Clark did and Angel Reese did are the same thing. They're not.
And that is where the hardest work begins. The next head coach of the Chicago Sky must be more than a strategist. They'll have to be a healer, a visionary, and a reformer. Someone who can rebuild trust, repair the fractures, and remind every player what team truly means. This isn't just a rebuild, it's a redemption, because what's broken here isn't just a roster, it's belief. From this point forward, every decision matters. Will management chase short-term wins or build long-term stability? Will they value stat sheets or championships? Will they foster respect or fuel more controversy? The eyes of the entire WNBA are watching. The Sky's next chapter could be a cautionary tale or an inspiring comeback story. Their chaotic season has exposed deep flaws, from Angel Reese's unchecked behavior to the team's reckless tactics and internal collapse. But maybe, just maybe, this dark chapter can become the spark that lights a better future. Because Caitlin Clark's courage, her calmness under fire, it shows what the heart of the game should look like. Now the ball is in the Sky's court. Will they rise and rebuild with integrity, or fall again into the storm they created? The future of women's basketball may depend on their choice. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this story is far from over.